going on YouTube? It's your boys Collins. Again, I'm back with another video. I've been working a 9-to-5 job, with my babe, and we've just been working hard, just trying to make it out here, because at the end of the day, in order for you to be successful, you need to be able to put in your time and your efforts, just putting things together, So at the end of the day, I just want you guys to understand that, I'm here for you guys. I love you guys, and I am definitely gonna put out a lot of good content out there, you feel me? So today we're gonna actually do a pretty cool video. All right, so I'm looking at today we're gonna actually do Superman landing. So if you guys normally watch Superman films and stuff like that, like today I want to show you guys how to do an awesome Superman landing effect. For example, like this one. Right, if you look at this video right here, right, this person did this, right? I think somewhere in India, they did this with this cool effects. But for some reason, if you look at these type of videos, right, yeah, it looks good, but for some reason, some people will be like, yeah, there's really not a lot of quality involved in it. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to make this type of effect with such unique, special, visual, whatever you want to say it, man. All right, so look, yesterday, my wife and I, we went ahead and we went outside and we went, like, I had her help me shoot this video, right? And for some reason I forgot to wipe the screen, because look, if you look over here, I have this little, whatever this thing is on the camera. I was supposed to wipe the camera properly, but I didn't. So like, you guys are seeing this right now, like, so we went ahead and shot this video, right? So guys, look, the way to actually shoot this type of thing, right? First and foremost, you want to make sure that you have your you want to shoot a clear, plain background, right? You want to have a good, clear, plain background with no subject, with nothing inside, right? And then you want to have your subject walk into the scene and do his whole like Superman landing thing, like the whole landing effect, right? Cool. Now, what you want to first do is basically the part where your subject is not in frame. You want to do is you want to kind of like trim that area out. For example, like specifically, if you notice this area, the camera was shaking, so I'm gonna come to this area and press Control-Shift-D on my keyboard and then delete that part, right? Press B to kind of like crop out the frame, right? So you want to press B, right click this area, trim comp to work area, right? So now I just completely cut that area out, right? And so what I want to do is basically I want to cut out the area before he walks into the frame, and I'm going to rename this area, right click this area and type in background, right? So what I'm doing is basically I'm renaming this area to background, because background where there's nobody inside this area. And then the part where I walk in the frame, I'm gonna cut it exactly when I'm just getting ready to do that effect, right? So just like right here. So I'm flying from the sky and I just land right here. So just right before my feet touches the ground, right? Or let's say when my feet touches the ground, this is where I'm gonna cut it off. And I'm gonna do Control-Shift-D on my keyboard, select this other layer, delete the part where I was walking, and just move this close by. So what it would look like is this. Boom, you see? It looks like I just magically appeared in the frame, right? Boom, 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 right? And so what I'm basically doing, right, is this specific frame right here, I'm gonna press Control-Shift-D again, and I'm gonna go ahead and right click this thing, go all the way to time, and then I'm gonna do freeze frame. By the way, this tutorial is for those people who are just a little bit intermediate to advanced. This is not really sort of like a beginner's tutorial, because if I was doing a beginner's tutorial, I would really have to break down even a lot of things. So I would urge anybody that's trying to do this effect to be a little bit advanced in After Effects, because I tend to go fast. This is for advanced users, people that know how to use After Effects pretty well. So basically, this is what you're looking at, right? And then, so you're gonna have this specific frame of your subject, right? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and go up to the pen tool, draw a rough mask, right? Let me change the quality to full. By the way, guys, when I do edits, right, I normally change the quality from full to quarter, because at the end of the day, it makes your processing a little bit much more faster. So that's what I do when I do edits. So what I do is basically I draw a nice rough mask around my subject. You can even use rotoscoping. If you guys want to use rotoscoping, I think it's also easier, but the only thing is that rotoscoping sometimes tends to, make the system run a little bit slow. So after I draw a nice rough mask around my subject, guys, you guys, I would always urge you to be as much detailed as possible, because the effect really comes in handy when your subject is really masked out. And so after I draw my subject, you can notice that now you can see that the guy is in here. If you turn off the frame, turn off the layer, look, you see? I did it so well that it looks so real, you know what I'm saying? Like he's actually in there. So what I do is I click the layer, press F on the keyboard, it's gonna open up the feather properties, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just probably gonna type in 5, you know what I'm saying? Just to make sure that edges are not harsh. After I do that, then what I'm gonna do next is I am going to trim this to maybe like about 4 frames, right? Because the effect, because you know he's landing, so when he's landing, he's gonna be moving pretty fast. So what I do is I basically make this layer about 4 frames, press P on the keyboard to highlight position, click on the keyframe in the position area, move this keyframe all the way to the end, and then what I'm gonna do is I am going to move this guy up, right? So he's coming down from the sky in a very sharp way. So if you look at the effect, it goes like this. Let me see if I can preview it for you guys, man. Sometimes my computer just be acting. So far, look. You see? Right. You see, like it looks like the guy is coming from the sky and he's landing, right? But here's the problem with this effect, right? So it looks like he's still going pretty slow because I'm trying to make it seem as if the guy landed really hard, right? So what you want to do, again, move the position just a little bit, 1 keyframe over, and then what you guys are gonna do is you guys are gonna hit this, you know, motion blur button right here, hit toggle switches, and this under right here, this motion blur preset, go ahead and highlight this frame for it to have motion blur. So what's basically happened is basically like, you know how normally when the camera moves really fast and stuff like that, you normally have, and you're trying to shoot a video or something like that of a certain person, and you notice how the person is moving so fast in the frame that you can't necessarily see the person because there's a blur on the person, right? That's what basically we're doing. We're adding a blur to the thing, because if we don't add a blur, it looks like this. It doesn't look right. But if you add a blur, now it looks like he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's actually flying from the sky and landing on the ground. That's the whole idea. I'm actually gonna do something with the whole ground cracking thingy. All right, so let's do that. All right, so guys, look, for me, right, I already have presets and projects already saved up on my computer and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and import those things. So just give me 1 second. Let me get that together. Ground cracks. Let's see if I can just bring everything in here. I don't even know what it's called. Ground cracks. See if I can select which one. By the way, I got these what's it called? These ground effects from Action, what's it called? Action VFX, I believe. What is it? Action VFX? Let me see. I don't think it's Action VFX. Is it Action? Yeah, I think it's Action VFX. Yeah, guys. By the way, I got most of this stock footage for the ground cracks from Action VFX. By the way, they have amazing visuals. I mean, if you guys want to grab the ground cracking effects, you guys want to definitely head over to their website and definitely check them out, because I mean they have amazing stuff you guys can really use for your videos and have the best like OC quality thing. So I'm just saying that I'm definitely looking out that you guys should definitely check out Action VFX. You know, so they have pretty amazing stuff, pretty amazing stuff. So yeah, as you guys can see, they have different ground cracking effects, and we're gonna actually select one of these to make the whole thing look amazing. So hey, all right, so I'm gonna take out the rest of it because I don't think I'm gonna need everything else. I just need that. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna need this, so I'm gonna use A might be the one that I might use. And so basically what we're doing, guys, is we're basically bringing this element right here into our project, and as you can see, it's actually not showing. So what we're gonna do is, this is what I like to do normally when I see this thing, because if you notice that this thing has a little bit of a this gray color. So how do we take this gray color to make it blend in with the background? I mean, there's only one thing I use. There's this specific effect called linear, right? Linear color key. So what you do is you drag it, you bring it in here, take this tool and highlight this gray area. So what it does is basically it's taking away that extra gray thing, so it basically blends in with the background, right? It's basically keying that gray thing so that it can blend in with the background. And so what this is basically doing is just, you know what I'm saying, as you can look, ooh, looks like we're actually landing, right? Now how do we make this real? And so here is where rotoscoping can actually come in. See this background area that I basically selected, right? So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna take a piece of it, move this piece over here, and right click, set the time, stretch out the background to maybe 400, so it basically kind of like covers the area, because I'm about to basically rotoscope my subject because of this ground cracking effect, right? And so here's what's happening, right? So I am gonna take my subject and I am basically gonna rotoscope him. So what you're gonna do for rotoscoping is you're gonna click this area, you're gonna go all the way to this rotoscoping area, double click this layer, and you're just gonna begin rotoscoping your subject. And so what it's basically gonna do is gonna highlight your subject and you know, press Alt to kind of like delete the layer, and it's just basically gonna highlight your subject and just basically have him, you know, in this specific area. So like in this specific area, all I need him is his shoes, his feet, and all this other stuff, and you just move in with your keyframe. And you notice that most of the time the rotoscoping automatically selects and highlights the areas that needs to be addressed, so you don't even have to do too much. But let me speed it up real quick, guys. Alright guys, so I'm basically done. As you guys can see, the rotoscoping is all completed, and what it's basically doing, I'm setting the quality back to quarter. What it's basically doing is I have basically highlighted my subject, right? But here is the problem. Now since I've highlighted my subject, it's been able to take out my subject pretty good, right? Now what I want to do is basically kind of like feather the edges so it's not too harsh on the edge. And I'm gonna see if I can adjust a couple of settings real quick. Give me a second. Let me take out this background so we can see what we're working with real quick. On cracking effect, and what I'm gonna do is basically move this layer to the bottom of this. So now what you have is basically this ground crack shattering thing just right here. I mean, we can make this big, right? We can make this even bigger than it already is, or we can just make it smaller. So now what you have is basically this dude flying from the sky or heaven or wherever you want to call it, and he basically slams the ground and the ground just shatters, right? But it seems as if that the ground crack comes a few seconds after. So here's what we're gonna do. We are about to do something crazy. Now let's go ahead and add some sound effects to it, right? Effect. And so press L on your keyboard to bring that up, so you can see where the sound wave begins. And what I'll do is basically I will bring this exactly where and what I'll do is I'll basically press L on the keyboard, keyframe the audio levels, and what I'm gonna do is basically lower down the audio as it goes, and then I'll press Control Shift on my D on my keyboard, delete, and then here's what we got. So that's basically him landing. When you look at how Superman flies up and down and stuff like that, there's this kind of shock wave, there's this blur, there's this kind of distortion, right? And what I'm gonna do is basically apply this distortion to the part where I'm flying from the sky and coming down. So it's like I'm rippling through the sky. And what I'm basically doing, right, is I am basically kind of like applying this distortion visual, right, where the guy is basically flying from the sky, but at the same time he's ripping the sky apart. So it's like he's moving so fast that the sky is basically ripping. So what I'm gonna do is what I just created right now is an adjustment layer, right? And so to create that, you press Control Alt Y, I believe. So let me try that again. Control Alt Y to create an adjustment layer. Control Shift D to crop out some areas, and just basically trim out the area so it can fit the specific area where you're gonna use. And so basically what I'm doing is I am basically going to go ahead and grab the pen tool and draw a nice rough mask thin around my subject, right? And basically here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and hit M on the keyboard, hit mask path, and we're just going to basically animate it. You know, as you guys can see, boom, 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 right? And here's what we're gonna do. If you guys don't have this specific plugin, it is called Heat Distortion from Video Copilot, right? So I would urge for you guys to download that. If you guys don't have Heat Distortion, search up on YouTube how to download Heat Distortion, or go buy one. Like, honestly, it's pretty good. You guys can definitely do a lot of things with that Heat Distortion. I mean, so many things, so many different things. I urge you guys to definitely go buy it, because it makes it a little bit easier to use, right? And so when you come to Heat Distortion, what you do is change the distortion amount to, actually leave the distortion amount on 10. Maybe the heat amount, I tend to increase it just a little bit, maybe 50. Change the scale a little bit, you know, higher like this. Maybe set it to 141. Change the noise speed a little bit faster. You know, maybe I tend to make it a little bit faster because I'm trying to create this wind effect. The wind speed, I crank it up all the way high. The direction, face it all the way down. So basically 180 degrees down, or 181, it doesn't matter. But as long as it's down there, it's facing down, that's pretty good. And what you guys are gonna do, click on the adjustment layer area, press F on the keyboard, and feather it out to maybe like 43%, right? And so basically this is what you have. You have this effect. So as you can see, it looks like he's rippling through the sky, right? As you guys can see, it looks like he's like, he's cutting the sky open. By the way, guys, I'm gonna add dust, and basically I got this dust from what's his name, CGI Visuals. You guys should definitely check him out. Again, these people, they have pretty good stuff. You know, you can get the whole entire package and all that kind of stuff, and it comes with all these cool elements, right? So look, I have this dust ground already pre-animated dust element, so when Superman lands on the ground, it kind of spreads. So what we're gonna do is we're basically gonna play with the settings, right? We are going to play with the settings, and this is how we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my mask tool, do a nice rough mask around this specific area, right? And there you go. Press F on the keyboard, feather it out a little bit, press, drop down the menu and go to mask expansion, and just lower it down just a little bit. And then what you're gonna do is go over here to effects and presets, click, type in hue and saturation, boom, 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 drop it down. So now it matches the whole entire background. So it looks as if the guy is hitting the ground, and now you got this gray dust effect. You have this shock wave in the ground or whatever it is, and then you have this pretty cool element where he just crashes down on the ground and it basically spreads. And so what I do is I'll normally press scale, hit up here on the anchor point tool, bring the anchor point down to this specific area, and what I'm doing is basically as he crashes down, right, the dust spreads, right? The dust is basically so it seems like it happens pretty fast, right? So we're just gonna basically play with it, you know? We're gonna play with it. So it looks a little bit more enticing, if I'm right. All right, enticing. So it's like, still doesn't look too good. So, I mean, I have a bunch of dust layers, so I'm just gonna add what I have, right, to make it look amazing. And that's what I'm gonna do. And guys, I tend to use shockwave. Now I'm gonna apply a little bit of shockwave just to make it look a little bit good, guys. I mean, like I said, I'm really trying my best to make this look as good as possible. I mean, look, I'm gonna do the best that I can because I don't have necessarily all the elements for Hollywood visuals, but I am going to do the best that I can to give you guys the best visuals ever. I mean, like, for real, I am going to do the best that I can. So basically what I'm adding right here is just this shockwave element that I picked up a few years back. It's pretty good. I mean, I think I found it on YouTube somewhere, and I basically play with it. If you just type in green screen, you know, green screen shockwave, you can be able to find this on YouTube as well too. And so basically what I'm doing is I am going to make this a 3D layer, and this is gonna just be a shockwave, right? Turn this to 180 degrees. Oh, actually I take that back. I'm supposed to turn this to 90 degrees, right? And so what I'm basically doing is I'm creating this illusion that the guy crashes in the ground, and then there's just this particle spread, right? So the particle basically spreads, and let me go ahead and mask the center area, right? So now you got this cool effect. And now here's what we're gonna do, right? So within my sound effects area, I have this heat vision sound effects, right? By the way, some of these things, the reason why I can't share it with you guys is because you have to pay for them. All right, some of these visuals, you really have to pay for them, and I don't want to just publicize someone's, you know, or give it to you guys for free, because it's like, you know, I might be charged, you know, for that. And no, basically what I'm doing is I'm applying this heat sound effect, right? And I'm adding this kind of like bell ringing sound effect to it to make it sound good, right? It doesn't sound too good, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this joint here. Let's see. I'm just gonna use that part. Trim comp to work area, and come back to our main area. Heat sound effect is gonna sound like. So you have this bell sound. And so, as you guys can see, so we have the shockwave, we have the ripple effect, we have the we got the ground cracking, we have the dust. I mean, guys, there is so much that goes into this effect, and I feel like anybody, like literally everybody, can do this and make this amazing. You just gotta know what you're doing, you know? Like, it's that simple. Just know what you're doing and just do it. Be good at it. Be a professional at doing this kind of thing. So guys, look, the last part I'm gonna add is I'm just gonna pre-compose this. I have more to add to make this thing sound look a little bit much more better, but this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna show you guys how to add what's called camera shake. All right, so I'm just gonna compose this and press put and write down done. And so basically what I'm about to do is I'm about to add camera shake. So what I'll do is basically come to the area where I basically land, press Control Shift D, and maybe this area where, you know, move a couple of frames ahead, press Control Shift D again. So now we have this specific area. This specific area is going to go directly to the camera shake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come all the way here to the effects and presets, type in motion tile, right? Drag and drop this, mirror edges, output height, change this to 150, width 150. And then the next thing you're going to do is going to type in wiggle, and then you're gonna drag in position. And so this is like an automatic preset that's already inside After Effects that you can use for camera shake, right? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the wiggle speed to maybe, so it looks something like the thing is shaking, right? And maybe change the wiggle amount a little bit higher, right? And what we can do is we can just like play around with the settings to get the exact look that you're looking for. Alright. For the sake of this tutorial, guys, I have made it just a little bit short for you guys today so that you guys can learn something from it. You know? I hope you guys enjoyed this effect. Again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Collins, and this is Collins Productions. You guys definitely be sure to hit the like, subscribe, comment. Tell me exactly what you guys want to see next, what visuals you guys want me to show you how to make next in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.